Ever since I started to take photography seriously almost a decade ago, the Dolomites have been incredibly high on my list. This year I finally managed to make it a reality. This was a very short, very last minute trip. I only had, I think, 5 days, 4 full days in the Italian Dolomites. I had the Q3 with me and my M11. I really wanted to lean more into the M11 for this trip, but I was incredibly overwhelmed with how short it was and the weather wasn't playing nice for the first couple of days. So I just felt more comfortable just leaning on the Q3 because it's my tried and true. I have been running without a filter on my Q3 for the last 6 or so months. Now, if you've seen any of my other videos about the Q3, particularly in the early days, I talked a lot about the Short Stash Polar Pro Everyday filter. So this is a mist, a quarter mist circular polarizer 2-in-1. And then for anyone interested, it's actually stuck right now. I actually have the 67mm filter on a step-up ring, 49 to 67. I think it just looks a little nicer. I've kind of been running this as the daily setup. So I'm curious to see if you notice any difference, if you like the difference, or if you don't like it. Anyway, one thing I really like about it is the green. And I recently picked up the new Apple lanyard that I saw a lot of people on Threads running as a camera strap. It's adjustable and it's like magnetized. So like this loop, it's like a magnet inside, but then you just pull on it and that makes it longer. And then to make it shorter, you just pull the opposite direction, if I get the right one, and then you just have to match it on the other side, and then it just shortens. And the shortest it goes to is about 42 inches, which is actually kind of perfect for most of my kind of applications. And then if I want it longer, like around my waist, then I'll just stretch it out. But yeah, anyway, if anyone has been interested in picking one of these up, it holds the Q3 and my Brass M11 very well. I wouldn't recommend using these little loops because it does find its way through, because this little tether is very, very thin, although very strong. I think the weight that Apple had confirmed was around 11 pounds. So take that as you will. Anyway, thought it was really aesthetic. It literally matches the green of the Short Stash filter perfectly. So I like green. In case you haven't realized, green couch, you often wear green jackets. Anyway, the Dolomites. I have no sponsor for this video, but if you'd like to show your appreciation, I do have my Lightroom presets linked in the description, which is what I've used to edit all of these photos. Now, these photos that I'm showing you are probably the highlight of this trip. This location, this is a very small, iconic church called St. Jacob's Church in a very quaint hamlet just outside of the iconic mountain range Sasida. Gave myself plenty of time at this location because I didn't want to just stay at this one spot for the entire evening. Now, this is one of my biggest lessons that I've learned over the pretty much last year of creating photos. I often get caught up in that final location and I end up wasting an entire evening of good light at the same spot with just getting the same photos with just different light. And that's not how I want to approach photography. I want to look for these smaller, quieter moments, especially in a little hamlet with so much character. So I gave myself about 45 minutes left of light and I started to hike back down looking for anything that caught my eye. And as the sun continued to set below the horizon, I let more into blue hour and I ended up coming away with some of my favorite photographs from this trip. Now, I traveled with my friend Carl Meshner on this trip, and it was a little bit hectic because, as I had mentioned, we didn't have long here and weather wasn't playing nice for the first couple of days. This was a high location on our list and it was just completely fogged out, low cloud. There are some iconic peaks behind this church, which were unfortunately just completely covered. But that's just how it is when you have limited time and you're traveling. You just got to make do with what you're given. We ended up going back to the same location from the first morning on our second morning. We messed up a little bit on figuring out where we wanted to shoot, and it was a spot that we had found, and it was a pond that was completely drained. We wanted some reflections, but we didn't realize it was going to be drained, so we just kind of looked for some different compositions and explored these foothills a little bit more. This is kind of some cattle land. These huts, I think, are like storage huts, and there's footpaths throughout these meadows. So we kind of just made the most of having some clear skies this morning and some actual light hitting these peaks. But blue hour is really what I kind of had lent into with my photography on this morning, because it was just really nice soft light, and the sun was going to rise pretty much in frame, so I didn't actually get anything once the sun had risen. But overall, I'm happy with what I had captured here. This trip had me reflecting. It's been a bit eye-opening for me because for the last 2 years, I've traveled to Iceland once, but that was for a pretty big, important project. But other than that, I haven't traveled internationally, except to England when I visited family, but I haven't specifically gone to a new location outside of the United States. The biggest thing, what I'm trying to say is, it's so more important, especially in today's day and age, to worry less about the camera gear and just get out and go and experience the world, because those experiences is what's going to matter most. And as a creator, they are absolutely essential. They open us up a lot more to different lifestyles, to just different experiences, different cultures. And that's way more important as a visual storyteller than getting the next best camera or next best lens. Now, don't get me wrong, they are important and they have a place, but it's something that I wish I had grasped 10 or so years ago. So don't make the same mistake that I did and wait until you're in your mid-30s to travel to the Dolomites. Mainly because I'm also exhausted. It's been over a week since I've been home and I'm still not over the jet lag. I'm not in my 20s anymore and I definitely feel it. So I hope you enjoyed this video and got something out of it. I'm trying to do a lot better in actually curating these trips with the photographs and be more intentional with my photos. I've had this mindset of sometimes I just go out to make photos as a means to an end for a video. I want to realign my priorities and focus a lot more on making the photos just because I love photography, because I do love photography. So with that being said, I've made a gallery of all of these photos. If you want to check them out and look at them over at your own pace, then feel free to do so. And then also, if you're interested in my presets, they are linked down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.